Welcome to America's Freedom Media. I'm your host, the Angry American. We've got an officer-involved shooting out of Las Vegas, Nevada that earlier today. Got the video on it from Fox 5 in Las Vegas. Please watch the video and I'll be right back with you to talk to you about it.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Assistant Sheriff Todd Fasulo. I'm here to give you a briefing on officer-involved shooting number 11. It's a fatal, and it is number 6 for 2017. Same time last year we had 6 officer-involved shootings and 2 were fatal. The date and time of the call was June 11th, 2017 at approximately 1:08 p.m. and the nature of the call was an attempted carjacking or robbery. Location of the officer-involved shooting was 4233 North Rancho Drive. Here's an overview of the scene on my left on the screen. The time of the officer-involved shooting was at approximately 1:26 p.m. The involved officer has been identified as William Pollock. It's P-O-L-L-O-C-K. He goes by Chris. He's 56 years old and has been with LVMPD for 16 years. He's assigned to the Community Policing Division at Northwest Area Command. In this incident, he was armed with a Beretta Model 96F 40 caliber handgun equipped with a tactical light. The investigation revealed Officer Pollock fired 6 rounds from his handgun during this incident, and Officer Pollock was wearing a body-worn camera during this incident, and I will show you the video at the conclusion of my remarks. The suspect has been identified as Caleb Blaylock. That's C-A-L-E-B B-L-A-Y-L-O-C-K. He's 27 years old. He's a white male adult, 6 foot 2 inches, 160 pounds, and Blaylock is pictured to my left. The charges, if Mr. Blaylock had survived, is robbery with a deadly weapon, kidnapping with a deadly weapon, and assault with a deadly weapon on a protected person. His criminal history is possession of a controlled substance in 2011, open and gross lewdness in 2014, and possession of a controlled substance again in 2017. His weapon was a 10-inch knife, which you will see in a minute. The details of the officer-involved shooting are: on Tuesday, July 11th at 2017 at 1:08 p.m., LVMPD dispatch received a call from a person reporting an attempted robbery to a citizen in the parking lot of Super Pond located at 4111 North Rancho Drive. The caller, who was not the victim, reported a white male armed with a knife attempted to carjack another citizen. The caller described the suspect as being armed with a 10-inch knife. It was further reported that the victim of the attempted carjacking hit the suspect with a hammer, and the suspect fled the parking lot on foot. Officer Pollock, operating as a solo marked patrol unit, responded to the call. Upon arrival at 4111 North Rancho, a citizen pointed out the suspect, who was walking northbound on Rancho Drive on the west side of the street, to Officer Pollock. Officer Pollock updated dispatch of the information and drove towards Blaylock northbound in the southbound lanes of Rancho Drive. As Officer Pollock approached Blaylock, Officer Pollock saw Blaylock pull out a knife, and he gave Blaylock verbal commands to stop and drop the knife. Blaylock refused to comply and continued northbound. Officer Pollock saw that Blaylock was using the knife to repeatedly stab himself and broadcasted this information over the radio. Officer Pollock continued issuing verbal commands from his vehicle to Blaylock, which he ignored. Officer Pollock stopped his vehicle and was beginning to exit when Blaylock turned towards Officer Pollock, raised the knife, and quickly advanced towards Officer Pollock as if he was going to stab him. Officer Pollock fired 2 rounds from his handgun while still seated in his patrol vehicle, striking Blaylock, who fell to the ground right next to the driver's door of the vehicle. When this first exchange occurred, Blaylock was within 9 feet of Officer Pollock and was actually holding onto the door frame of the patrol vehicle while holding the knife in the other hand. Officer Pollock notified dispatch that shots had been fired and continued using verbal commands to Blaylock to drop the knife. As Officer Pollock was issuing commands to Blaylock to drop the knife, he sat up on his knees and raised the knife in a threatening manner towards Officer Pollock again, as if he was going to stab him. Officer Pollock fired an additional 4 rounds while still seated in his vehicle, striking Blaylock. When this second exchange occurred, Blaylock was within 3 feet of Officer Pollock. Officer Pollock exited his vehicle, requested medical to expedite, and took him into custody. Medical personnel arrived and declared Blaylock deceased at the scene. And at the scene briefing, we asked the public and media to help us identify the victims of that original carjacking. Our FIT team has since identified and located those individuals and the truck, and we want to thank you for your assistance in that matter. I'll now show you the video obtained from Officer Pollock's body-worn camera, as well as third-party video obtained from Super Pond and the CAT bus, and then I'll open it up for questions. So this is the original video from Super Pond when Blaylock first arrived with 2 other individuals in that red truck, and that's what ultimately led our citizen, that is the person reporting originally on the robbery, to call dispatch. You'll see as they get out of the vehicle, there's a confrontation between Blaylock and one other individual. One individual has a hammer, and Blaylock has the knife, and they have an altercation before they disperse. And this body-worn camera footage from Officer Pollock. So this portion of the video is when he first arrives, and he ends up finding out from the person that's reporting that Blaylock is actually walking northbound on Rancho.
Right there, yep. All right. Yeah, the guy's gonna be walking northbound. He's wearing black slacks and a teal shirt. I'll be out. Give me code red. You see your hands? Drop the knife! Drop the knife!
Well, as you can clearly see from the video,
And he continues
the
to walk
officer did
northbound on
everything in his
Rancho.
power to try to avoid and using deadly force. The suspect wouldn't comply with the officer's commands. He turned and charged at the officer with a knife, which resulted in his death. You know, it's sad to see a young person throw his life away like that. He did die at the scene, and like I said, the officer is totally justified, and it's just sad.
So this is a
to see
slowed
a
down
young
version
man
of the very first shot.
throw his life away.
You see him holding on to
But
the door
officer had
jamb of
no
the patrol
choice but to
vehicle, and you'll
protect
see the
his
knife in his
protect
right
his
hand.
own life and protect those of the public. You know, it's just one observation that I'd like to make, you know, that had
And this
this
is video
been,
from the CAT bus that was just
black
approaching as
suspect,
Officer Pollock stopped.
being that it was a white
Blaylock on the
officer, I'm
sidewalk.
sure we would be hearing from the Black Lives Matter crowd right about now, saying that it wasn't a justified shooting. That's just an anecdote of my own, based on, you know, what I've seen in the public eye, you know, recently. However, here at America's Freedom Media, we are intent on bringing you the truth and the unadulterated truth, and that's our only mission and our only goal.
So here's some stills of the body-worn
Thank
camera
you so
footage.
much for watching our video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell, and have a blessed day.
Whoa!